more inequality work. I believe we did this on 3.2. Pretty sure we did. Okay. Oh, I know what we did. In 3.2, we did absolute values, where you had to split it up, right? And if it was greater than, you used greater than or equal to, you used or. And if it was less than or equal to, you used and. So these are not absolute value inequalities. However, they are compound inequalities, which means you have two of them separated by the word and or. And again, it's the same. It follows kind of like the same concept, where ands, the graphs are going to look like either open or closed circle, and you're going to shade in between, right? And the ors, either open or closed circle, depending on the inequality sign, right? Are going to go opposite ways. Okay? Sure. You'll have to sharpen it. Well, yeah, you'll probably have to sharpen it. Sharpen it back there. Okay? So, number 2, and again, remember, when you're solving these inequalities, you have, when you're solving these inequalities, if you multiply or divide by a negative, guys, quiet down. Thing about inequalities, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, don't forget to flip the sign. Okay, number 2. I have negative 2 plus p is less than 7, and 6 plus p is greater than 2. It's an and problem, so it's in between. It's going to be that in between graph. Okay, I'm going to, you know what? These graphs came underneath it, so I'm going to rewrite the problem underneath the graph. Okay, so I'm going to solve this. Yeah, for p. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I get, oh, this should be a plus. So I get p is less than 9, and ladies, yep, I get p is greater than negative 4. Okay, they're open circles at negative 4 and positive 9. It's an and, so I shade in between the points. I'm going to rewrite my problem underneath to give me more room. Yeah, I've been actually getting pounded by toilet paper lately. Multiply both sides by 6. And the other side, I'm going to, sorry, it's bright. He's not here today. Julian? Okay, add 2 to both sides. This one's an open circle because there's no equal sign, right? So at -6, open circle. This one's a closed circle at +10. It's an and statement, so it's in between. Yes, I'm sure. Number 6. I'm going to rewrite it down here. It is real cheese. It's cream cheese. Subtract 4 from both sides. Here, I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. Guys, enough. Okay, they're both open circles, 5 and -7. Yes, it is. It's an and problem, so I'm going to shade in between. Okay, number 8. Okay, the first one I'm going to subtract 6. Yep. Yeah. X is less than -1. This one I'm going to multiply both sides by 10. So I get X is greater than or equal to -10. So this one, -1 gets an open circle. And -10 is going to get a closed circle because of the equal sign. It's an and problem, so shade in between. Now, number 10 is actually an and problem. What they did was they condensed it. Since they're using the same term, v plus 1, for both inequalities, they just condensed it. Okay. In other words, what this really means is 9 is less than or equal to v plus 1 and v plus 1 is less than or equal to 10. See how these become the same? They just squished it together. So whenever you see it condensed, it's an and problem. You can't do that with or problems. You can only do it with and problems. So whenever you see condensed form like this is an and. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and it's actually easier to solve these when they're condensed. You just got to remember this is actually two problems. Okay. I still want to get v by itself. I have to subtract 1. Okay. I have to subtract 1 here, subtract 1 here, subtract 1 there. See how there's 3 problems? 3 terms. 8. We're subtracting 1, so the sign stays the same. This goes to 0. 10 minus 1 is 9. Now, so I have 8 and 9. The number 8 gets a closed circle because of the equal sign. The number 9 gets a closed circle because of the equal sign. It's an and problem, so I shade in between. Number 12. This is our, oh, this is fine. We finally get an or problem. So I get r divided by 3 greater than or equal to 2, or 6r is less than or equal to negative 36. So I'm going to multiply by the denominator 3. So I get r is greater than or equal to 6, or this side I have to divide by positive 6. So I'm dividing by a positive number. I'm not going to flip the sign. My 6's cancel the 1. 1 times r is just r. Negative 36 divided by 6, negative 6. See, both of them get a closed circle because of the equal sign. So negative 6. Guys, quiet down. Fantastic. Now, this is an or problem. So they're going to go opposite ways here. Watch it. All right, number 14. Stop, leave her alone. Yes. You have to ask Cheyenne for a cup. Okay, this is an or problem, so it's going to be opposite ways again. See, this is going to be at least a couple of steps here. I'm going to subtract 7, subtract 7. I get 3x less than negative 15. Again, I'm dividing by a positive number, even though that's negative. I do not flip the sign. Then solve the other inequality. Subtract 2, subtract 2. I get negative 6x less than or equal to negative 42. Oh, this time I am dividing by a negative number, so what do I have to do to the sign? I have to flip it. Okay, be careful. Dividing by a negative number. Hey, negative 5 gets an open circle. 7 gets a closed circle. It's an OR problem, so they go opposite ways. Questions? Page 3. Yeah, a couple. 16. It's a condensed problem, compound inequality. So, you got it. It's an AND problem. So I have negative 16 less than or equal to 4 minus 10n less than or equal to 54. Still have to get the n by itself. Actually, 3 problems there, 3 terms that I have to deal with at the same time. So I need to get n by itself. I'm going to subtract 4 from both problems. So I get negative 16 minus 4 is negative 20.
Yeah, I got that enough.
I get negative 10n is less than 54 minus 4 is 50. I have to get n by itself, so I'm going to divide by the coefficient negative 10. Now, be careful here because this time I am dividing by a negative number. Guys, I'm talking, quiet. Okay, so I get positive 2. I have to flip the sign because it's a negative number. Flip the sign because I'm dividing by negative 10. Okay, both points, 2 and negative 5. Shh. Quiet, please. 2 and negative 5 get closed circles because of the equal sign. It's an and problem, so shade in between. Language. Okay, 18 is also an and problem. It's condensed. Okay, it means I have 2 inequalities to solve. I'm going to, quiet. I'm going to subtract 2 from both inequalities. 29 minus 2, 27. Negative 9p. And 65 minus 2, 63. What? I could always use 4s. Just put them on my desk. Oh, and divided by a negative 9. So what do I have to do to the signs? I have to flip them. Thank you. Flip the sign. These are open circles, no no equal signs. So -3, open, -7, open, and problem, shade in between. $20. It's an or problem, so they're going to go opposite directions. Okay, I'm going to add 10. So I get 8x less than -64. I'm dividing by a positive number, so my sign stays the same. X is less than -8. Here I'm going to add 3. So I get X is greater than 5. Both of these are open circles. There's no equal sign. It's an or problem, so I'm going to shade opposite directions. $22 is one of those condensed ones. So this is an and problem. -71 is less than or equal to -8n plus 1, less than or equal to 81. Okay, I'm going to subtract 1 from both inequalities. So I get -72. I'm subtracting 1, so signs stay the same. Okay, I'm going to divide by the coefficient -8. Again, I'm dividing now by a negative number, so I'm going to have to flip the signs. -72 divided by -8 is +7. Flip the sign. 80 divided by -8 is -10. I have to flip the sign. Let's see, 7 gets a closed circle because of the equal sign. -10 gets an open circle. This is an and problem, so I'm going to shade in between. And the last piece of notes. $24, or problem, so opposite directions. All right, so now I've got the two inequal. If you want to put those dotted lines there, they do help. Add 10, add 10. I get 5x less than or equal to +10. I'm dividing by a positive number, so the sign stays the same. 2. Or, see, I'm going to subtract 9. I get -6x less than -36. All right, now I am dividing by -6. So I'm going to have to flip my sign. Negative 36 divided by negative 6 is positive 6. Let's see, closed circle at 2. Open circle at 6. It's an OR problem, so opposite directions. Number 26. Now these are starting to get a lot of multiple steps here. Okay, it's an OR problem, so they're going to go opposite directions. I'm going to put my dotted lines there because these are getting a little complicated. So I'm going to, let me see, I'm going to add 4x. You can do these any way you want. I'm going to add 4x, both sides. Because I got to get my x's on one side and numbers on the other. Burgess, please put my flag down. I have to get my x on the left-hand side. Okay. So negative 2x plus 4x is positive 2x. I'm going to bring down my minus 9. These add up to 0. I get negative 3. I have to get rid of my 9, get my numbers on this side. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So I get my 2x greater than positive 6, negative 3 plus 9. Divide by 2. And I get x is greater than 3. Or, let's see, I want my x's on the left-hand side, so I'm going to add 3x. Add 3x. I get negative 1x, or just negative x, minus 6, greater than or equal to 3. I'm going to add 6 to both sides to get my numbers on the right-hand side. I get negative x is greater than or equal to 9. Have to get rid of the minus sign. I could either divide by negative 1 or multiply by negative 1. But because I'm dividing by a negative number, I have to flip the sign. Okay, open circle at 3. Closed circle at negative 9. This is an OR problem, so they go opposite directions. Two more. Then you could have the class, tomorrow's class to do the rest of them. We should do a quiz early next week. 28. It's an and problem, so it's going to be shaded in between. See, I have 7x plus 2 greater than x, 8x minus 9, and x minus 8 less than 2x minus 9. Okay, I want my x's on the left-hand side, so I'm going to subtract 8x. Negative x plus 2 is greater than negative 9. Subtract 2 from both sides. Negative x is greater than negative 11. I'm going to divide both sides, get rid of that negative sign, by negative 1. So x, flip the sign because I divided by a negative number, is less than 11. Okay, how's the other one? See, I want my x's on the left-hand side, so minus 2x. I get negative 1x minus 8 less than negative 9. Add 8 to both sides. So I get negative x less than negative 1. Divide by negative 1. So x, flip the sign, is greater than 1. Both have open circle, 1 and 11. It's an and problem, so shade in between. And the last note problem. Your practice work is the odds. 1,000 million per section. This is 3.3, so you get 1 point. Yep. It's formative grid. I think we'll do a summative. Let's do one next Wednesday. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to subtract 5a. I get 2a plus 10 greater than 2. Subtract 10. I get 2a greater than negative 8. Divide by 2. I get a is greater than negative 4. Okay, you're going to add a to both sides. I get 4a minus 10 less than negative 10. Add 10 to both sides. For Burgess, quiet down, is less than 0. Divide by the coefficient 4. So a is less than 0. Both open circles, no equal sign. Negative 4 and 0. It's an and problem. Shade in between. Okay, your practice work for, you don't have that much time left of class, but tomorrow's class, you're going to do the odds and turn it in when you're done.